Today we are going to learn about essay writing. In essay writing, which is a part of English composition, what we are required to do is to write in about 4 or 5 paragraphs on any topic which we make on our own or which are given to us by our teachers, and express our thoughts and ideas by collecting the facts and figures about the topics and expressing ourselves in writing so that the people who read our essay will have a very clear understanding of the topic that we are writing about. So essay writing is a very enjoyable way of expressing ourselves through the medium of writing, and it's a very important part of English composition. Usually in high school, essays are supposed to be written in about 200 words, 250 words, and sometimes 300 words. Whereas in higher institutions beyond high school, it may be required in essay writing to write the essay in about 500 words or even 1000 words. So whatever it is, within the given number of words which we are expected to utilize in expressing ourselves to write on the topic, we must be able to express very clearly our thoughts and ideas by composing very properly in English about the topic on which we are writing the essay. In essay writing, usually we see, number one, the introductory part or introduction of the essay. Introduction. For example, if the essay is about schools, write an essay on schools. For example, the question is to write an essay on schools. In the introduction, we are expected to define what schools are. The definition of the topic must come in the introduction. That will give an opening for the person who reads the essay about the topic which we are writing. So here, for example, if our assignment is to write an essay on schools, in the introduction we define what schools are. We can say schools are institutions where children go to acquire knowledge. There are many kinds of schools. There are lower primary schools, kindergarten, then junior high school, then high school, then higher secondary schools, and so on. That must come in the introduction. Now, in some cases, outlines for an essay is given in the question. If the outline is given, we have to follow the outline which has been given to us in order to compose our essay. If outlines are not given, we have to frame our own outline in order to compose our essay. Now, after the introduction is done, where we define the topic, this is the topic, we have defined the topic in the introduction. The second stage of the essay is the body of the essay. The body is the main part of the essay. Here in the body, we write in detail about schools. For example, there are many kinds of schools. There are many different ways of teaching. some schools utilize modern technology to teach, whereas in rural areas there are some schools which do not have access to any modern technology. Some classes are taken in the open without any school building, by gathering together the children by the teacher and teaching them in open spaces. Whatever it is, in the body of the essay, all our knowledge about schools must be written. If the outline is given, which we have to follow, we will follow the outline. If outline is not given, we will make our own outline. So we have to know extensively about schools so that we can use the knowledge that we have about schools in order to write in the body of our essay the topic, which is schools. In the body, we have to express ourselves in detail about the schools by using all the resources we have about schools in our knowledge. So the body must explain what schools are. The body must also tell us how schools function. The body must also tell us what schools does to the students, how students benefit from schools. And the body must also tell us the rules and regulations in schools which students must follow. And the body must also tell us the classes, the way classes are conducted in schools. And the body must also tell us about big schools and small schools. Everything we know about schools must come in the body. I'm explaining this particular essay taking into consideration that outline is not given. So whatever knowledge that we have about schools, we must put into the body by arranging our knowledge about schools in a systematic way. And after having finished writing about schools in the body of the essay, we come to the conclusion of the essay. Conclusion. In the body, first the introduction will be made up of one paragraph. One paragraph. This will give us the introduction, and the body can be made up of 2 or 3 paragraphs. Now, if the number of words is more, for example, if the essay requires us to write in about 300 words about schools, we can break up the body into maybe more than 3 times, maybe even 4 paragraphs. And in the conclusion, we must end the essay in a very proper way. We cannot end the essay suddenly. In the conclusion, which will come as another paragraph of its own, we can give our ideas and suggestions about how to make our schools function better and how to make the schools in our parts more resourceful for the students who go to the schools. So in this way, this is an example of an essay where the topic is school. This is how essays should be structured. Here it is important to note that as we frame every sentences of the essay, the grammatical correctness of the sentences must be put into consideration. So when we frame our sentences, when we compose our sentences, we must make sure that the English grammar is correct. Actually, essay writing can be done well only after we have a good basic knowledge of grammar, because without grammatical foundation, we cannot compose in English. In order to compose well in English, we must have a proper grammatical foundation. But in spite of having proper grammatical foundation, it may be difficult for us to compose on any topic about our ideas or about the facts and figures that we know about the topic, to put them together in words and sentence may not be very easy. So it is good to practice how to write essay by writing on the topic frequently. For example, here, if we want to make our essay better, if we want to improve ourselves in essay writing skill, first we write the essay on school. The first essay that we have written, we must recheck the essay. Each sentences, each words, each paragraph must be checked. Then surely we will come across many mistakes and many changes that needs to be made. And we rewrite the same essay after making the changes. Then after the second time of writing, we go through the essay again, we read the essay in detail, and then we will still see scope for improvement. After noting down the areas which require improvement, we can write it the third time. So if each topic is written 3 or 4 times, not just writing again by copying the previous essay, but by noting the incorrect parts of the essay, and by putting in by correcting the incorrect parts, and by putting in new ideas that we might have, we can improve our writing skills. So if we practice this frequently in the examination hall, when we will not have time to think about the topic and write on the topic without any time limit, after serious practice, if we write in the examination after a series of serious practice, it will be very easy for us to write essays within a short time limit that we will get in the examination hall. So this is a way to write an essay. First introduction, then body, then conclusion. First, before we go to the introduction or body or conclusion, we must think about the topic. We must try to know everything about the topic. Only then we can start writing. We must study the topic properly. We must collect in our mind all the facts and figures about the topic and then start writing. So now, in today's lesson, I have just explained about essay writing. This should be followed by assignment, which will be given to you. I will give you one topic which you will write, and I want you to write the topic and essay on the topic at least 4 times. First time you write carefully. There is no time limit in this case. You can take your time and carefully you compose your essay and write. Then after finishing writing, you go through your essay, finding all the mistakes and incorrect parts, make changes, and write the second essay on the same topic after making the changes and corrections. Then again, third time, do the same thing, and again the fourth time. And after the fourth time that you have written, and after you are satisfied with yourself that your essay is good enough and presentable, you can submit the assignment for evaluation by the teacher. Now I'm going to write on the blackboard a topic which will be an assignment, and you must write this, like I said, 3 or 4 times, or maybe even 5 times, and submit to me as soon as possible. I will post on the WhatsApp group the time when you must submit the essay. You will write on a paper and then take a photograph of the paper by a mobile phone, and then send to me the essays that you have written so that I can evaluate your essay. Now I'll just give you one topic. I want to encourage you to use your own thinking. your own ideas, your own thinking, your own ability to find resources for essays. So I will not give you an outline. I will just give you the topic. You make your own outline and write on this topic. Write an essay on the pandemic that the world is facing. Now, you all must have come across the coronavirus on the newspaper, on the television. Everywhere we go, we hear news about the coronavirus. So that is the pandemic. Pandemic means it's a disease, not confined to one particular region alone. It's a disease that spreads everywhere in the world. This disease has spread to every places in the world. There are no countries which the disease has not affected. So the pandemic that the world is facing, this will be the topic of your essay. Here, like I said, you will write the introduction. Introduction. What a pandemic is. What a pandemic is, you have to define that. Then after that, the present pandemic that the world is facing is coronavirus, COVID-19. That you must write in the introduction. That will be one paragraph. After that, in the body, you can write about how India is battling the pandemic, the coronavirus, and how other countries of the world are also fighting the coronavirus. What steps the government has taken and the measures that we can take to prevent ourselves from being affected by this disease. Then, conclusion. In the conclusion, body will comprise of 2 or 3 paragraphs. This will be a 300 words essay. 300 words essay. And in the conclusion, you can conclude by sharing your ideas about the pandemic, your suggestions about how we can control the pandemic and how the world can control the pandemic, and whether there is hope on the horizon about the vaccine that will get rid of the pandemic. In the conclusion, you can finish the essay by concluding with your ideas and suggestions about the way that the world can get rid of the pandemic. Okay, this will be an assignment. It must be written in 300 words, and on the group it will be posted when you must submit. Deadline will be given. You have to submit this essay by taking a photograph of the essay and sending your essay through WhatsApp so that evaluation of your essay can be done. Thank you. Have a good time.